Hey everybody, thanks for coming to Papa's Happy Place. This episode, I'm going to talk about my California Common. It's a beer that I just did not too long ago, and I've really started to get interested in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I came up with the recipe. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the style. I'm going to do a brew day, and then right afterwards, I'll do a tasting. I'll tell you what I think about the beer. Anyways, before I get to all that, let's do an intro. And welcome to Papa's Happy Place.
My thoughts have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fooled us.
Alright guys, California Common is the major thing on it. It is a beer that is brewed at an ale temperature with lager yeast. So lager yeast is usually used to around 55, 58 degrees, maybe 60. Well, this one goes up to 68, 70 degrees. Because of that, it gives you a little more fruity flavor. So that's part of the also brewed with Northern Brewer hops. All right, let me talk about the history here a little bit of this beer. Where did this beer come from, and why did we end up brewing it like we do? The beer came from creating a beer so that the miners back in the 1800s could have something to drink. They were working hard, running their picks, mining gold in Southern California. And they needed to have some refreshment at the end of the day with their buddies. That's what it was. The local constabularies created a beer that sold. And what was that beer? It's called the California Common, or more commonly referenced as a steam beer. Now, what that is a beer that is brewed at these temperatures. And they brewed that at these temperatures because they couldn't keep, it was very pricey to keep everything colder. So at 68, 70 degrees, they could do that at an economical rate, but to get it down to 58, 55 degrees, they didn't have the stuff to do that. So they created this beer to supply the miners in the 1800s with beer. And, well, hell, make money. That's what it was about. So, before Prohibition, before all that stuff, this was done kind of in a couple different places. One of the big ones is called Anchor. Anchor was in San Francisco. Prohibition, man, it kind of killed all alcohol. So, that's what it was. But afterwards, Anchor came back. It was one of the few, probably the only California beer that was still being able to be produced other than small. Now, after Prohibition ended in 1933, American demands for lighter, some of these lager kind of beers, was higher. That's what they wanted. And so, Anchor created this, or was reinvented this steam beer with the lager yeast, and it became very popular. Now, they went through a lot of trials. I've read and watched some information on this, and they borrowed yeast from local brewers, from bread shops, from all over the place to try and keep the beer alive. Very common in that era after Prohibition to try and keep the craft of beers alive. Very intriguing history on this one. Anyways, coming to today, they brewed this beer since 1933 until just like a couple years ago. They actually went out of business. Why did they go out of business? IPAs, babe. IPAs. Anyways, that's the history of the beer. Alright, my recipe. A little different. Maybe not correct, but I think it's close. I'm trying to be historically relevant. But anyways, I got 9 pounds of a 2-row, or my base malt. I got 2 pounds of Maris Arthur, another base malt, but it's got a little sweeter flavor. 1 pound of caramel malt. Give me kind of that little bit of color and flavor. And then I got 1 pound of melanoidin. All this stuff will be down in the description down below. You'll be able, or maybe it'll pop up here. I don't know. Hell, I ain't good at this stuff. All I know is there's a recipe that I followed. This is what it is. I heated up 9.85 gallons of water. And in that water, I dropped my salts to get to a water profile, which will be down below here. Once I got these grains measured out, I added my water, 9.85 gallons. To that water, I added what I needed to get to a certain profile. Now the profile I went to on this one was the California Common Beer, showing calcium of 100, magnesium of 50, sodium of 50, chlorides of 75, and sulfates of 200. And my hydrochlorides is 80. So this is a little bit of a sulfide higher beer, a little bit. This is just where I pulled the information off of somebody else's recipe. To do that, I put in 9 grams of gypsum, 5.6 grams of calcium chloride, 5.5 grams of Epsom salt, 4.1 grams of baking soda, and then I added a half a milliliter of lactic acid to get my pH correct. Strike temp on this was 175.6 degrees. Trying to add, by adding all those grains in, I was trying to get 157 degrees. I wanted to be a little maltier on this one. And so that's where I went. And I did that for 60 minutes. And after I did my 60-minute mash, I did a 15-minute mash out, pulled my grains, did a sparge. After I sparged, I did a, brought my temperature up, got ready to start the boil. Now, true to style on this one, I did my boil strictly with Northern Brewer. Picked this up in at a place over in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll put the link down in the description here. But met a feller over there. We talked a little bit about beer. He owns a homebrew store. He has a tasting room. Very nice place. We had some nice beers, had a nice discussion. I picked up some Northern Brewer, and I picked up some lager yeast. Anyways, my Northern Brewer on this was, at 60 minutes, I put an ounce in. 15 minutes, put another ounce in. And right at the flame out, I put a half ounce of Northern Brewer in. For a total IBUs of 36 on this one. Man, I think that's about the right number. It's definitely in style on the California Common. You can look this up on the BJCP guidelines. Look it up on Brewfather, wherever you want to. That's in guidelines. So then I fermented. Once I got that, cooled it down overnight. I don't do a fast cool. I do an overnight cool. And I brought this one down to about 65, 70 degrees. And I pitched my yeast, which was, Fermentus S23. And I did 2 packs of Fermentus S23 after I oxygenated my wort. Got it down there where it needed to be. Fermented this for 7 days at 66 degrees. Did my diacetyl rest for 3 days at 68 degrees. Cold crashed it for over a couple days down to 55 degrees. And then I conditioned this for 7 days in my kegerator. Shared it with my friends. This is where we're going with this. A lot of people gave me some input, gave me some what they thought about this beer. Right behind that, I'm about to do a tasting for you. So I'll tell you what I think about this beer and maybe give you some input from what I learned about this beer. Anyways, that's how I brewed the beer. Alright guys, tasty time. Tasty time. This one's been involved in the kegerator for actually about a month now. So here we go. Here we go, a little tasty time. Tasty time. Alright. So I got about a half finger ahead there. Nice amber color. It's not quite clear, but I didn't add no finding agents to it. But it probably tastes good, so I don't give a damn about clear. Looks good to me. Looked like a nice amber. Alright. How's it smell? How's it smell? Ooh. Do I get a little fruit? I'm getting like some sweet, fruity stuff. I don't know, I ain't good at that. But it's sweet and fruity. Maybe a grape or a raisin or something. But it's fruity. That's two style. You want that two style. Maybe that's a little of that Northern Brewer mouthfeel. Okay. It's not crispy. It's but that's kind of that California common. I'm thinking old bar room, old saloon. I'm sitting there minor, getting me a drink. This has been nice and cool drink at the end of the day. That kind of sticks with you a little bit. Yep. Stays in the mouth just a touch. It's not really long. It's not like drinking a glass of milk. Kind of sticks with you, but it's not like super crisp like a lager either. Alright, flavor. Man, I get malt. Mostly malt. Maybe a little of that Northern Brewer. Very light in the bitterness. I'm getting the kind of a mild sourness towards the backside, but I think that's more malt. That's... Hey guys. California Common. California Common. And no, I did not get sponsored by More Beer. This is just a glass I bought. But what the hell glass do you put a California Common in? I don't know. So I put it in my More Beer glass. You know why? Because I can drink it out of it. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, drink beer. It's good for you. Alright? Cheers, guys. After the intro, make sure you like and subscribe. I work hard at this stuff. Trying to keep everybody, or trying to keep my content up so that people get to see new stuff. But, thank you. I do appreciate it. Make sure and like and subscribe. Alright.